going to be a medallion required for either Misery Mire or Turtle Rock. So one of those medallions is going to be the kind of trollish item if you were in this one, I think. What do you think, Rick? Any predictions?
Ooh, oh goodness. I am going to actually say, in this case, the hook shot. It was very interesting for SlimKirby in the last couple of races. Yeah, we get 20 rupees from the start here. Both of these runners are off this match in 2-2. So the winner, they are still alive for brackets. Loser, they're not dead as far as brackets are concerned, but their chances go down dramatically.
And that's what we're seeing kind of in week 5 of this tournament. You're seeing a lot of the storylines starting to play out here. We've got a lot of great 4-0 matches that we've seen, and a lot of 2-2s where there's a lot riding on these particular matches as well.
Yeah, the 4-0s, the winner is guaranteed a spot in the brackets. We get bombs as our start. And I know Slim has been practicing on those in the last few weeks. I don't know how walkingeye is, but we're going to find out how well these runners are with that strat early on. Slim getting trolled around by the guards.
Just a piece of heart in the first chest here, so nothing to help them out, but hopefully their bomb strats will be enough to get them through.
Yeah, again, bombing is one of those things where you've got to be careful with your strategy. How you attack with your bombs determines your success in this start position here. So, walkingeye, Link Sprite, and SlimKirby, well, no surprise what he uses for his Sprite.
So, heading down to the basement here, we'll get our first look at what kind of bomb strats our 2 runners are going to employ here.
Yeah, this is where you find out whether or not a runner knows what exactly they're doing, and there's walkingeye using it to perfection, and he has definitely used some strategy. He's done this practice before. SlimKirby, not too bad either.
Yeah, I believe that in the community we've seen a couple of tutorial videos on bomb strats going around, and walkingeye executed one that I've seen just to perfection there. It was just picture perfect.
Yeah, just amazing strat right there for walkingeye. SlimKirby not that far behind, but here's the second guard. Walkingeye trying to attract the attention of the guard. There he goes. Nice job. SlimKirby, on the other hand, gets him as well. No issues. And Slim's just taking this one patiently. He's going to get him tackled down with the same amount of bombs, so good strategies for both of these runners. SlimKirby took a hit, but he's going to get a heart back in the room where the ball and chain guard is.
Bit of an unfortunate RNG pattern with the green guard there, kind of slowing the progress of our runners down. At least for walkingeye.
Yeah, the interesting aspect of this is the whole, if the green guard gets in your way, well, he could really make things a big problem for you, especially when you're trying to preserve your health. So we get the small key, which means that the one in the sewers is going to be perhaps an item, could still be the map.
Yeah, still lots of goodies available in the back part of the escape sequence.
walkingeye, a couple of rooms ahead of SlimKirby, but obviously 3.5 minutes in, it doesn't really matter where these runners are. It's where they are going to be an hour and 40 from now.
And as our runners are making their way towards the throne room here, just a quick shout out to our tracker, Planswalker. Thank you for keeping things on track behind the scenes.
Yeah, we promise we'll give you some more buttons to press than that bug catching net that we found here in the escape portion. Answering chat, a good question popped up. So without a weapon, what happens if they run out of bombs? Well, they can save and quit or they can die. Either way, they're going to go back to the last checkpoint. At this point, it would be at Zelda's cell until walkingeye goes here to the sewers. Then that would be the next checkpoint in which they would get not all of their bombs back, but they would get a portion of their bombs back. if they haven't gotten to Zelda yet, they go back to the start of the escape. They do get all 10 bombs back. Now, the good thing about getting the bombs here as your starting weapon, you're not worried about bombs as far as for the back 3.
That is definitely a good point. The back part of the escape, it can be kind of tricky if you don't get a bomb drop. When it might be that you get back to that location, and what could be kind of hiding behind the bombable wall here.
All right.
Our runners are not going to have to worry about it.
The annoying rat, and Walking Eye did not get the rat here. Trying to be careful, and the rat's running away and down to a heart. There we go, got him down. Let's see how Slim does. He ends up tackling first try. And it was scary for Walking Eye because he could not take a bomb blast because that ends up taking a death.
Good point.
All right, back 3, we get our first sword. We get half magic and the map.
So definitely important things to pick up kind of early on. Nice things to have.
Now, Walking Eye is out of bombs at this point. We'll see him try to farm some before he gets to Kakariko Village, because obviously you want to have some for the village. Slim's got 3, so he's got enough to get him through the first portion of Kakariko Village. Unless this chest here in Sanctuary turns out to be the bombs, but it's a bomb upgrade instead. All right, so Walking Eye first out of the Sanctuary, and we get our first map check, and we have all 3 crystals in the light world. Number 6, up at the Tower of Hera.
So it looks like Walking Eye is going to head up to do the check of the Lumberjack Cave here. This is something that I find is about a 50-50 with a lot of our runners these days, whether they choose to actually go and check it out or not.
It's a thing that it's good to know at this point, but it's not in logic, so some runners choose to wait until they have logic to do in order to check it. Also allows you to check the crab, and that's a very nice crab drop there with the 20 rupees a piece.
Yeah, got to pay the bottle vendor, and if you, in Walking Eye's case, you might want to buy some bombs, although Slim picking up 300 rupees from the mushroom spot there, so not going to be a problem for either runner early on.
Yeah, that 300 rupees right there makes the getting the rupees from the crab less of a point, but you still need money for Zoras. We get the Moon Pearl down the hole here, so good find for both of the runners here. Always nice to know where that Moon Pearl is. As Slim takes a look at his map, and Walking Eye is going to go ahead and farm some more rupees.
So having taken a couple of rupees from the bomb crabs, or the bush crabs there, Walking Eye actually has enough for Zora as it is. So he's in a little bit better shape cash-wise.
Yeah, he's going to give up 100 here in Kakariko Village. He actually may give up the 50 as well for the bombs in the bomb shop, because naturally you want to try to get yourself in a position where you get all the items in Kakariko Village, as you don't really want to have to backtrack.
Definitely not, no.
There's the flute, and that's a very handy spot for that flute.
Oh yeah, just a short walk down to activate it, so definitely a good spot for it to be.
So we're going to see Walking Eye head to the south, because he's going to buy the bombs in the shop first, and then he will decide to go ahead and take the stuff in the north side. But first, let's go ahead and see what we have in the tavern. Tavern has the Power Glove. 1 item from Dark World Access.
I'm not seeing too much in the well at this time, but a couple more chests here.
Arrow upgrade, be another arrow upgrade, and there's some bombs, so that's good to see for SlimKirby, down to 1, so he's got enough to tackle everything he needs to in this Kakariko Village. Let's go ahead and see what we get for 100 rupees. Turns out to be a change of clothing, and as normally is the case for the purple, or the pink Slim, we have a blue Kirby now. Banana Hat pick up there for Walking Eye. Going to go ahead and pick up the items out of the well and continue his path through the Kakariko village. So the only item really of significance besides the flute is the Power Glove.
Yeah, and given that we don't have too much else to work with, we might see both of our runners head down to South Shore next, as that's probably the next highest density location that they can visit.
That's correct. And with the flute activated, they can go ahead and whistle away from the race game after they're done checking that, and then make their way to the south area. They can also get their way up to Death Mountain, but that's a less lucrative of a check. You only can have one item by logic at this point. Let's see if boots are going to be required this seat as Slim goes into the library. And oh, that is the ether. We could need the boots to get that.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see on that one, see if we are needing to dip into Mire or Turtle Rock and whether or not it is the medallion we're looking for.
Just 5 rupees at the race game, so Slim will whistle away, and we are going to head over towards Desert, and some information over here, piece of heart on the ledge. We're going to go ahead and see what Agina has, and this might be a interesting play here for Slim, but if Agina has anything major, well, that's good news for Slim.
Now, one thing that chat is pointing out is, unfortunately, Slim didn't pick up the glove in the back of the tavern.
Hopefully you can remember that spot.
That is, one of those very easy checks that you're on autopilot when you go through Kakariko, and if you've forgotten that, it might be a while before you...
Wow!
Very happy to see that, I'm sure. But this glove issue could be a thing. So hopefully, if Kirby is using a tracker of any kind, he hasn't marked off that location. He needs to get back there as soon as he can.
Yeah, he does. And let's see where he heads to next. He's going to head up to Death Mountain. That now with the hook shot is a little more of a valuable play at this point. Let's see where Walking Eye heads off to. He's going to go ahead and check the swamp area. South Shore, here we come. Just a single rupee in the chest. Now, what happened here with Slim is not a problem at this point.
No, that's
true. It will be a problem a little bit later on when he starts running out of squares.
Yeah.
And flippers underneath the dam.
So looking at the two routing decisions that we've seen from our 2 runners so far, we're probably going to see a fair bit of divergence, at least in this early part of the game. Picking up the flippers is going to keep Walking Eye likely down South Shore, doing a Zora check, and might even head over to Eastern Palace next, whereas with Slim with the hook shot is going to head to East Death Mountain after this for sure.
I do want to point out at this point that it would be a really good beneficial here for Slim if Tinesmith is behind the Power Glove in the Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
Silver arrows we find inside the Mini Moldorm Cave, as well as 2 arrow upgrades, 3 arrow upgrades. Worst case scenario here for Slim was if we find the hammer. Or no, not the hammer, but the Tinesmith soon, because I'm trying to think. If we find a glove and a hammer soon, that would give SlimKirby the false sense of security that he could find the Tinesmith in the Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much what it has to be here for Slim to have that cave not to be a problem, or that missed chest would be to have Dark World access put off for so long here for Slim.
Yeah, definitely. So Walking Eye opted to fly up to Death Mountain here. Doesn't have the hookshot because didn't visit Agina's cave yet, which is kind of an out of the way location. Boy.
And you need that hook shot. You need that hook shot to route everything in, because Slim's next play could be the Tower of Hera now with that hammer in hand.
Yeah, that seems kind of likely at this point, I'd imagine.
Walkingeye heading into the Ice Rod Cave here. We find 50 rupees. Added money for Zora here, as Slim's going to head up here to, once again, I have to believe the next play for Slim is the Tower of Hera, Blue Cane up on the island.
So Slim walking right past the Spiral Cave. They will likely check that on the way out from Tower of Hera.
Yeah, hopefully he won't forget that one as well. Painful when you do.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, Walkingeye has headed back down to the main land of Hyrule here, checking out some of the water locations with those flippers.
And we get ourselves a 20 rupee, and we also get another 20 rupees. Again, best case scenario for Slim right now is we do not find the power gloves on his end, because then he will think that the Dark World could easily be where he needs to go for Dark World, or the Dark World's where the Tidesman's going to be.
Yeah, definitely. So 20 rupees on the Zora Ledge there. I imagine that Walkingeye is not going to go for that.
And with 3 bombs inside of that center chest here, we do need a fire source in order to progress here in the Tower of Hera. So Slim's got to come back. He's going to head to Spiral Cave now. And just 10 arrows from Zora. Walkingeye is going to head on over towards Sarashala's hut now, and we're going to find out what's in the back 3 there, as well as maybe head into Eastern.
Yeah, without the bow, it's never a location that you want to enter, but it is a very early, easy check, so it makes a lot of sense to make the play into Eastern if we start running out of locations.
Just also a mark here for our tracker in the background. We have found the Quake on Slim's side. We also did find the magic powder right there. So Slim's done here, and where's his next move going to be? And we find ourselves a blue sword, the next sword upgrade. And Slim, I think, does he now realize what he missed? No, he doesn't. He's heading to Magic Bat. Walkingeye heading into Eastern.
And you got to hope that Slim, being back in Kakariko, is maybe just reminded of that location that he missed. But at this point, it's going to take him a little while before I think he realizes what he's missed.
And just for people tuning in, Slim missed the back of the tavern, which has the power gloves. And we've got to hope, at least on Slim's case here, that the second upgrade isn't here in the light world.
All right, so first chest in Eastern Palace here. The big key, kind of a common spot for that one to be, I find.
Slim's going to go into the swamp cave here, the dam. I'm going to go ahead and find the flippers. Using the hookshot trick to get over the block, so he only has to go in here once.
That's a really nice little time save.
Walkingeye, forgetting that he doesn't have the hookshot at this point in time, is going to walk on over the long way to this chest. The hookshot that Slim has was at Agina's. So item number 1 inside the Eastern, we find a piece of heart.
Based on the way that items have been playing out so far, I have to imagine that we might not find anything here in Eastern Palace. It seems like a lot of the big items have already been found for this kind of early part of the game.
Well, we know how we can get Dark World access at this point. Walking Eye is going to have to get to the hook shot over Agina's in order to get to the right-hand side of Death Mountain where the hammer is. That's your Dark World access. Item number 2 turns out to be 20 rupees. Found the compass in the standard. I believe that would be the compass chest anyways. So, for Walking Eye, it's time to do a sequence break. A nice hitbox on that bomb. I didn't think it was high enough to actually trigger it, but he gets it. Walking Eye through the dark room. He's going to go ahead and find out if this is the third and final. It's either the map or the third item inside of Eastern. The sequence break is going to yield 20 rupees. Nothing good in Eastern. And this is good news for Slim, by the way. That means that the Dark World access is not via Titansmith.
Yeah, I think you're right. Walking Eye making a good play here is going to be picking up his hook shot shortly. That'll take him over to East Death. Well, he'll be able to pick up the hammer after that.
That is correct. So both of these runners here early on have separated some. Slim still's got to go check the back 3 of Sarantula. He's also got to go check Eastern Palace. It's just a matter of time when Slim actually remembers that he's missing the tavern. As the hobo, please don't be the glove. It's a piece of heart instead. The good news about what we have so far is even if Slim tried to go and do Aga 1, he's got no lamp.
That's also a good thing that we haven't found that item yet.
So Walking Eye coming up here to Death Mountain, going to find what Slim has, and I believe Walking Eye will be the first of our runners to head into the Dark World, as Slim will go ahead and check Zora, will get scammed by the fish, and then make his way over to Eastern. And the good news here is that knowing your logic at this point, Slim knows that once he's done with Eastern, there's going to be something that he's missing because he knows that he has found everything else by logic.
Yeah, this seed has played out to his favor, at least with regards to the mistake that he's made kind of early on here. He's going to be locked out, and he's going to have to remember forgotten locations.
All right, let's see where Slim goes. Once again, the play that we will believe that he's going to end up making is going to be to head towards Eastern and Sarashala's hut. Because Walking Eye is now about to go ahead and pick up his hammer. I believe he'll probably try to complete the route and go into Hera to see if he can't beat that, only to find out he needs a fire source as well.
Yeah, so that'll likely send him into the Dark World immediately after that. Whether he decides to go for Hype Cave and kind of South Dark World locations, or if he decides to check out the Skull Woods and Village of Outcasts, we'll have to wait and see.
I would have to assume at this point Walking Eye is going to go check Hype Cave, but I really don't know. He may go over the more value or extended value.
Mm-hmm.
So Slim's going to make the obvious play now to head over to Eastern. We'll get disappointed with the items that he's going to see, but at about 2 minutes from now, Slim's going to be faced with a decision, and he's going to have to think about what he has missed. We have found all 3 items inside Eastern. The last thing that's going to be dropped in Eastern at the Armos Nights is going to be the map. So there's nothing they're going to leave behind. And we've seen all the items so far.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing that there is literally nothing left on the table for him.
Like I said, if this was a case where Slim had Dark World access, he's going to be checking a whole lot of stuff. And then about 40 minutes from now, then he would realize that he's out of options.
Yeah, so it's lucky that he'll hit that point a lot sooner in this run.
So Walking Eye heading over to Spiral Cave. Once again, we know that there's nothing interesting in here. Slim's about to pick up the piece apart, the first item inside of this Eastern. Walking Eye will likely, after he's done with the Spiral Cave, head on over towards Kakariko Village. He's going to go ahead and do the Magic Bat before he heads into the Dark World.
That's possible, yeah.
But that's a walk on his way to the Dark World, so that may actually influence where he's going to start. He will start with the Village of Outcasts in that case. And Slim, at this point, has got to realize that this is the last chest he can check by logic.
So he's going to go for the sequence break here, just hoping that he picks up something that might give him the edge that he's looking for here.
Yeah.
We know it's a whole lot of nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah, the next question is what does Slim do in about half a minute from now? Because he's going to be out of options.
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a pause on screen, I think, here while he tries to figure out exactly what it is he missed.
And thankfully, just based on both of these guys taking different routes, it's not that big of a difference at this point. Walking Eye will be the first one to the Dark World, and we're going to be talking about him going first to the Dark World by maybe a couple of minutes, depending on how fast Slim can realize what he did. So there's the 20 rupees for Slim, and there's part of a pause, and now it's time to figure out what we have missed. And there's the pause right there. Slim thinking about it, trying to weigh his options. He knows that there's got to be something he is missing. And there's definitely a pause here. Just, this is a case where he knows he's missing something, but what is it? This is where we need the energy of the chat to say, tavern. Give Slim some energy. Get him to tavern. Does he go to Kakariko? That's where the most amount of options are. Still, he's trying to think about it.
Meanwhile,
there's our map check.
Out our Dark World here, we've got Green Pendant in Ice Palace, and the 2 other pendants, Skull Woods and Misery Mire. Swamp Palace is our 5 crystal.
Slim needs some milk. He can get some milk at the tavern, can't he?
Good one.
This is painful because Slim knows he's missing something. And don't go to the mountain. It's not up here.
So Walking Eye choosing to go into Skull Woods here first, see if he can get one or both of the 2 items that are available to him here. Finding the big key, so that'll open up the big chest in the next room over.
Just trying to figure out what he's missing at this point. Walking Eye trying to do the bomb jump. Can Slim figure this out? Walking Eye gets the bomb jump, finds a small key for his efforts.
Just the map. So if he decides to go further into Skull Woods, Walking Eye will have one more chest that he can take a look at this point.
Yeah, he may think he actually forgot to talk to the NPC. He's gonna find out that he has already talked to the NPC. Yep, there he goes. Yep, he had already talked to the NPC. Well, let's go and talk out our problems at a tavern.
Huh, so just the compass there. So Skull Woods, both items are hiding behind the fire rod.
Dude, you already have it. Come on, tavern, come on! No! Yeah, come on, get in there! Yes! Yes, we got it! Oh, we got it! Slim's at the tavern, and he's gonna facepalm when he gets this glove. Where's the bomb? Put the bomb on the chest. There. Finally.
Alrighty, we've got
a bumper cave.
We've got ourselves a race here.
And with all that, I want to make a note that Slim did not lose this race because of that. He's only lost the search through Skull Woods, and Skull Woods had nothing important in it.
I mean, it could have been disastrous, but that they're still pretty much neck and neck at this point. No one's got a crystal on the board at this point, so we've got a long way to go.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is why it would have been so much worse if it turned out that he had Dark World access, because that would have been so many more places. Did I check this? Did I check that? Did I check this? And then the consequences would be enormous, because there's going to be so many places you're going to double up. So many places. I checked this. Did I get in here? Did I go in this position? And then it would just be one thing after another, and you'd have no place of really checking it at that point. You'd be so lost. So he's going to go check Skull Woods. I can understand this. This is a pendant dungeon. Clear it out. See if you can't get both of the items. Walking Eye checking Thieves Town. And let's see what we have inside for possible chest. Cane of Samaria, the first item.
Very nice.
There's a map pick up there. Walking Eye using the powder to go ahead and make an anti-fairy appear. We get ourselves the big key. And so now with that, we are back to having a race between these two. And I really like seeing that. It's painful seeing what Slim just went through. But on the same token, it's good that it only lasted as short of a time as it really did.
Definitely.
By the way, did we even see a single item in the Skull Woods?
No, Walking Eye checked as much as he could, and both are actually locked behind the fire rod in the back half of Skull Woods there.
Oh, I love that. That means you know it's deep in the logic at this point. Depending on where that fire rod turns out to be.
Those Gibdos are not playing nice.
And now the Wall Master comes down, tries to give him a how do you do, and Walking Eye heading through the Thieves' Town. And at this point in time, it's interesting that we don't see a lot more usage of the hookshot to try to move around faster. Like, we do see a little bit of it here from Walking Eye, but that's pretty much your only source of going any faster at this point.
Yeah, it's surprising how much of a difference hook shotting around the world can make if that is your only option at kind of picking up a little bit of speed.
All right, Slim's next stop probably, will he check Bumper Cave or will he just head right straight to the village of Outcast? He's going to go check Bumper Cave. And we know that's just for a bomb upgrade. So he's going to shadow Walking Eye at this point. And Walking Eye is going to go find out what's here. And we know it's not going to be a key. Instead, it's the fire rod.
Nice. That's 2 pretty big items in Thieves Town so far. Really paying off.
But you know what they're thinking at this point. You know what Walking Eye is thinking? Why couldn't you have given this to me before, Skullwoods?
Yeah. Yeah, knowing that there are 2 items hanging out in the back part of Skullwoods there, you know, it's not a dive that you want to take when you've got other options, but it might come to that at some point, especially as it's a pendant dungeon. You really don't want to head back there.
Well, the whole idea is maybe let's head into Skullwoods, see if we can't clear out the 2 items. It is a pendant dungeon. I don't want to have to come back. But the seed may be sending him in that direction. Map is in that chest, which means the big key chest, or the big chest, is going to have the key required for that room.
Yep, that will be locked in there, so no need to head into that room.
Okay, you're 36 minutes in. Your Dark World access was almost your last possible spot for Walking Eye. It was your last possible spot, and you mixed up going to the tavern early on. What do you think is going to go be? Yeah, what do you think is going through both of these runners' minds?
Based on the items that we have, you know, I bet both feel behind at this point. But with the items in hand, I'm thinking that we might have to see a play back up the mountain to finish off Tower of Hera. Oh, the mirror. That kind of changes things. I would say Swamp Palace is the play now.
Well, we're going to head south, do the digging game.
Yep.
Haunted Grove, Hype Cave, then Swamp. That's the route.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Unless you want to take a gamble that the Graveyard Ledge has something.
Yeah. Graveyard Ledge has been paying out these days.
All right, digging game. Anywhere between 1 and 30 is going to be the dig. Let's find out what dig number Walking Eye finds the item on. And we're digging it deep, but it's only 50 rupees. Next up, we're going to head over towards the Haunted Grove as well as Stumpy. Chat pointing out that now... Ooh, Tempered Sword inside of the Haunted Grove.
It's a nice pickup.
But with that pick, with all the items we have found here in Thieves Town, both 5 and 6 crystals are now open.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, can we get some hype today for where Walking Eye is heading towards? 5 items in here, 4 chests plus the NPC. Sometimes this is a hype play. Sometimes it's less than hype. Will it be a hype this time around?
I kind of hope so. It's kind of its reputation has suffered in the last little while, and I like to see like a good solid hype cave. So hopefully it's holding something for our runners today.
Still a lot of possible items. What do we have inside? Well, there's 300 rupees. If you're looking to get rich, you're hyped enough. There's a mushroom that makes you feel scared. We get ourselves bomb upgrade bombs and a 5 rupee. Value of hype today is pretty low, even with that mushroom.
Yeah. That mushroom's got to turn into something big. Otherwise, yeah, kind of a bust.
Walking Eye is trying to follow along with this logic. His next stop, Tower of Hera. Heading to the Tower of Hera next. So blind, about ready to be the victim of SlimKirby's rage slashes. And so we've already found one item here in the Tower of Hera. So Walking Eye might be making this play that the Pyramid Fairy is going to have something, and I think that might be why he's choosing to go into Hera, having already found one item inside.
And you know, I don't blame any runner who is going to put off the Swamp Palace play because of its like high go mode time save. If you're going to go through Swamp Palace in go mode, it only takes like 3 minutes tops. So a lot of runners put it off. However, it's a high density item location as well. So there's a lot of value to be found there if you're not in go mode.
That's how you gamble sometimes. Sometimes you've got something good, sometimes you got something bad. You never really know. That's why we play this game. Walking Eye with an interesting strategy here for the tile room. I've not really seen the hands-on approach that much before. So Walking Eye picking up the big key out of the chest there, and we're going to make our way to the top, see what that second item in the Tower of Hera is. Slim makes his way over towards the Haunted Grove. He's going to pick up his sword upgrade. And we've got chat already contemplating the items that could be on pedestal this seed. We have no way of knowing what's going to be on the pedestal just yet. But the bow could be there, the ice rod could be there, the item medallion to get into Turtle Rock if it would be the ether, or oh, it can't be the ether. Ether's on the oh god, it could be the boots.
Could be the boots.
Oh my
yeah.
god, it could be the boots to get you the ether off the library. It could be the bombos though.
Yeah.
Alright, Moldworm will drop the compass. I didn't see what that second item in Hera was, but it apparently wasn't anything of magnitude, otherwise chat would be screaming at us for missing it. Both runners having some sword slashes of rage at this point. They're just throwing their fury together. Walking Eye about to go into swamp.
Yeah, it makes sense to make this play at this point. Having just cleared out Tower of Hera is definitely thinking about that Pyramid Fairy, those 5-6 crystals, taking them off the board.
SlimKirby heading towards the pyramid, which is an interesting play too. We did not see this from WalkingEye, so this is new to us. We might also find out what the mushroom yields, and then he'll head up to Quake, the catfish.
Yeah, those are kind of out-of-the-way locations, but doing them in this way kind of makes a lot of sense. You're probably your best time saver if you're going to go for them.
Not checking the pyramid. Interesting decision here by Slim, but he's got to be thinking at this point that he's behind because of what happened to him. And it's not even turning the mushroom, but he can easily do that with the flute. This is a straight-up catfish play. Or maybe he's going to do this in the opposite order, go to the catfish first, and then make his way back.
That's also possible, yeah. I'm wondering if he's choosing to go for kind of out-of-the-way locations, feeling like he might be behind, so making the effort to go out to catfish, hoping that it's got some kind of progression that his opponent hasn't gone for.
Yeah, I think this might be the case here. He might be trying to go a little on the route, off the beaten path here. Gets a heart container from the catfish. So, again, I think the big thing here, and yep, with the mirror in hand, it looks like he's about ready to turn in the mushroom. So he'll land at the pyramid. But I think what it is really at this point is Slim knows that he's behind because of the gap that he did regarding the tavern. So he's just trying to piece it together and maybe, just maybe see if something out of the way is going to yield him something better, or he's not going to mirror to the mushroom again.
Now, looks like he's heading for a graveyard ledge.
Ooh, that's an interesting spot too, which is, as we mentioned before, has had some value. And this is something that has been sticking in his mind ever since the Open tournament last year. Because this in the one race that he did against F. Coughlin turned out to be where the Titans Mitt was. And that's been lingering on his mind ever since that incident happened. And it's just a 5 rupee, so nothing good there at all.
Ugh.
You're feeling behind at this point. You know you're behind. There's no feeling behind. You know you're behind because of what happened. So he's going to go ahead and echo WalkingEye's movement because I think he's going to go to Swamp after this.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to. So WalkingEye has given us left side first here instead of heading to the back and taking care of Argus. Not a bad idea. You're still pretty far from go mode, so you're going to be likely full clearing this dungeon looking for items anyways. So I don't mind this left side play coming first.
So Slim doing the room over here, the tile room, as WalkingEye checking to see what's on the west side of Swamp, finds just a 20 rupee. The other item over here turns out to be another 20 rupee.
There are so many big 20s in the item pool, so it's no surprise that one is hanging over on the left side of Swamp here.
So once again, we have not seen anything interesting here in this Swamp Palace, but we'll see how it goes. So here we go. Argus is going to be a easy fight here for walkingeye with the tempered sword in hand. There's just a piece of heart was the second item in Tower of Hera that we missed earlier, so nothing really that interesting. We're still looking for a lot of good items, though.
Yeah, we had a pretty generous Thieves Town there, but since then, things kind of dried up a little bit, and the seed has become a little bit stingy with giving out progression items.
walkingeye getting hit with that glitch there that says, hey, look, you want to go back downstairs from B1 to B2. As SlimKirby takes care of Moldorm, let's see what's in the big chest of Swamp. Swamp has another 20 rupee. This is the home of red rupees.
Yeah, so unless our buddy Argus has something, or the waterfall chest that we haven't seen yet, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot at all.
So SlimKirby done with the Tower of Hera. Where is he going to go? Flute 2? He's going to turn in that mushroom. First check of that mushroom we've seen.
It's a piece of heart.
Yep. Not what we wanted to see.
Alright, walkingeye heading into the Argus fight here with the tempered sword in hand, which should make quick work of the little puffballs around Argus.
Yep, we have not seen anything yet in the swamp. We know that Argus is going to have the 6th and final item, plus the other part of the 5-6 crystal setup. As Slim follows in the footsteps, heads over to Swamp Palace himself.
Couple of spins and Argus is down.
What does he drop? He will drop 3 bombs. Swamp, nothing in it. But what does the Pyramid Fairy have?
Yeah, for these runners' sake, hopefully something good, because otherwise they're going to have to like partial dip a dungeon or head into a pendant dungeon looking for progression.
Yeah, at this point in time, there could be progression on the Pyramid Ledge. There could be progression in the Palace of Darkness. There could be something in the back, too, of Skull. We know that both items are in the back behind the Fire Rod block. Could also be in the first section of the Palace of Darkness. Anything that you don't need the bow to get to. So we got the Pyramid Fairy coming up next. That'll give access for 2 items here for walkingeye, plus the Pyramid Ledge to make 3. Likely we'll go ahead and trade in the mushroom and then head over to Campfish to complete his routing.
Yeah, that would make sense. This is definitely the time to do it.
And we're still looking for a lot of key items, as we mentioned before. We know the ether is up in the library, so we need boots to get that, but we don't know if that's required. 3 bombs on the Pyramid Ledge. All right, let's see if the 5-6 combo has anything. Sabatender, what's inside?
Oh boy, we got a big 20, and oh, our Titan's mitts. Wow.
So that was required, and now this world is open up for both of these runners. walkingeye about to do a save and quit, but realizes that he is yet to do the mushroom as well as Catfish. So SlimKirby will get the Titan's mitts soon.
Now, that's a really good item to find at the Pyramid Ferry for the sake of the race at hand here, because it could send our runners in completely different directions, which could lead them to different progression items. So it'll make it for an entertaining kind of find.
Yeah, this is going to be the kind of move here that's going to split this race apart, and that's actually something that Slim needs at this point, because you're not going to get ahead of your opponent by trailing him throughout the entire seed. You can catch up to him slightly with the differences in your combat skills, but the difference between these two runners right now is if you're doing everything in the same order, it's going to be hard to come back unless walkingeye makes a mistake.
Yeah, like if we had found the bow at the Pyramid Ferry, then that would have just kind of continued the linear progression of the seed. But yeah, Titansmiths is kind of a curveball.
You really have 3 places you can go at this point. You can go to the Death Mountain, check the 3 there. You can do what walkingeye is doing and check the Myers Shed, check Gerboard Cave, and then head into Desert. Or you could go into Pendant Ice. And we know that nobody really wants to go to Pendant Ice, but that's still a thing that's possible in play here. Quake is the medallion required for Misery Mire. Uh-oh. That's going to accelerate the pet seed people. We've yet to see the lamp. That's the only thing that's blocking him from being able to complete all pendant dungeons at this point.
So walkingeye is going to make the play into Desert Palace here at this time. Or is he going to try and steal a key? Oh no, he's remembering that he's got to go back and actually do the first part of the dungeon.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I thought we were going to see a key steal here, but thankfully walkingeye remembered it before he tapped in there, and it turns out he just thought he was going in to beat the dungeon. Is this dungeon beatable though? We may need boots. We need boots.
Yeah, so just another item to add to the list of things that we are looking for.
And an arrow upgrade. Immediately this dungeon is done. Now he can go steal a key, see if he can't maybe find that second item, but it's a sequence break at this point. And with that, the pedestal requirements go up. It could be bombos, it could be ice rod, it could be the bow, it could be the boots. There are the boots right there. Never mind. I didn't see anything.
So walkingeye is likely going to head right back into Desert Palace and finish this off.
Probably wondering why he didn't have that 20 seconds ago when he was in Desert the first go-around. But this also now opens up the path to the Ether. Again, you don't know if the Ether is going to be required. Could very well maybe have that be the medallion required to get into Turtle Rock.
Yep.
So the boots are a good find here for walkingeye. This is just going to allow him to continue his lead with Slim right at this moment.
Yeah, meanwhile, Slim is almost finished up with Swamp Palace here, so we'll likely be heading up to Pyramid Ferry, taking care of that situation, grabbing Titan's Mitts, and joining walkingeye in the next kind of like phase of this run.
There's the big key. Will walkingeye immediately go to the big chest? Yes, he will. Because you have that option, or you can go to the Lambolas. One of them's got the map, the other one's got the second item.
On these kind of 50-50 gamble situations, I find I like to go for the boss, and if I have to go back in, especially in Desert Palace, if I have to go back in, it's not a huge time loss. But in this case, it was 300 rupees, so it was the second item.
And so walkingeye is going to head on over towards the Lambolas. probably barbecue them with the use of the ice rod, or not the ice rod, the fire rod, and complete the third, make it the fourth crystal dungeon. 4 crystals down, and we're still so many items away from go mode.
Yeah, despite the seeds starting to give us little pieces here and there, yeah, we're looking for quite a few items still.
Slim's popping him back into swamp because he wants to find out what's in that big chest. Gonna be disappointed to find out that it's only the 20 rupees inside as Walking Eye gets ready to face off against Lamolus. Slim, the switch is already over. You can go ahead and go swimming, go right back in there, and head on over towards the big chest that he's still a little tilted from earlier.
Yeah, tilt is a very real part of the randomizer and any kind of speedrunning in general. So it's not a surprise that, that Slim is kind of feeling it after the tavern incident.
Yeah, you can feel for Slim at this point because he feels like he just threw this race away right at the beginning. Like, he knows that he's behind.
Yeah.
The way he's routing gives us reasons to believe that he's behind. He may take additional risks with that thought in mind as well. Walking Eye going to go ahead and grab the ether coin off the library, and I got the feeling based on this, we're going to see Walking Eye head up to the mountain to check out Dark Death Mountain soon.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah, taking the time to go for the extra medallion, that gives him 2 in hand, hoping to open up Turtle Rock perhaps once he gets up there.
There's the flute to 1 right there. So Slim going to use the pyramid bomb. We'll have that explode as he finds 3 bombs in the pyramid ledge. Doesn't have any of those. But the item that he's coming here to get will be the Titan's Mitt. And hopefully for Slim's sake, he heads on over towards the mire area next, because the boots are something that you really want to have. As Walking Eye gets dead rocked, they're mean, they're disgusting, they're vile.
And nothing feels worse than sitting there waiting for them to kind of come back to life there. Those 10 seconds feel like an eternity.
Yep, and Slim is making the play over here to the mire shed. All right, let's see what we need for Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock needs the ether, so good decision by Walking Eye to go ahead and open that up.
Now, at this point, does he take the gamble in to Turtle Rock, hoping to find the ice rod along the way?
I think he checks out what he can here, and then it's decision time. It's really decision time. Do you go inside? Because the 2 items that we are missing at this point, the ice rod and the bow, they can be anywhere. They can be at the pedestal. That's a boomerang. That's not the bow. That's a piece of heart. That's not the ice rod.
So he's going to take a look in Hookshot Cave next while Slim picks up his boots.
And also, logically at this point, we cannot beat Turtle Rock. These runners here with their skill, they can, but that's because we don't have the lamp.
Yeah. The lamp is probably in Ice Palace.
Oh,
It'd be something really brutal like that.
Or it could be behind the fire rod in Skull Woods. We find the butter sword, and Slim almost made the same thing that Walking Eye ended up doing. And Walking Eye was thinking about it, and Walking Eye, I think, wants that Cane of Burna. He does.
Well, it would be our only invincibility item at this point, so to get access to the Spike Cave, that might be why he's going for it.
Now, the good news here for Slim is that he's going to be able to full clear this desert without having to backtrack. But that's not a huge time difference.
No, just a couple seconds saved, but every little bit counts at this point, seeing as he is a little bit behind at this time.
And Walking Eye is making the move. This was the move that won the race for SlimKirby going into Turtle Rock early enough. Is this the play? Is the bow in here? Is the ice rod in here? You know what's even worse? It could be a fetch quest.
Oh no.
There's a small key. By the way, just to know for our tracker, Walking Eye does have the powder as well as the ether for the tracker. Could also be the bottle. We haven't seen the bottle yet.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to Planeswalker once again, our tracker, hitting the buttons behind the scenes for us. Your efforts are very well appreciated. I will say this, though. If this search turns out to be empty, never mind, it's the bow.
There we go.
Ooh, well, seems like Walking Eye is making all the right moves.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like he might go a little bit deeper into the dungeon, which is interesting. I mean, you could take that bow and just, nope out, but what if the ice rod is in here, a little further along?
Yeah, we mentioned this in the pre-game discussion. This was the play that came to be for Slim, where you went deeper into the Mimic Cave, and the answer that you needed was there. Walking Eye knows, probably based on examination of the previous races, and does not want that to happen to him here.
And I guess at this point you're thinking that you're already here in Turtle Rock, might as well clear it up, because even if you have to come back and revisit, you'll be just zipping through the dungeon, and that is a little bit quicker. It's a little unfortunate to have to double dip, but you're already in the neighborhood. Might as well kind of go through the rest of it.
Speaking of the neighborhood, is Slim making the play for for Misery Mire at this point? That's exactly what it looks like.
Interesting.
This is even more interesting if it turns out that we find the ice rod in here.
That would be his saving grace, I think, is if the ice rod is in here, because it's going to be a location that Walking Eye is not going to want to visit at any point.
And this could also be SlimKirby knowing that a big play that he needs maybe to make a big play at this point for him to have a chance. But we are now just an ice rod away from go mode.
Walking Eye taking a look in the Mimic Cave here.
Okay, Mimic Cave has the ice rod. Walking Eye is in go mode at 1 hour 8:46.
Wow.
And now Slim is in Mire with little chance.
Yep, I think that might about do it for this one, unfortunately. It's quite an advantage that Walking Eye has at this point.
And it's an advantage that came together all because Slim ended up mixing up the tavern at the very, very beginning of this race and from there, it was just a snowball effect, and you hate seeing that. You hate seeing a move like that come to play in a race, but it happens, and at that point, you've got to make moves. And the big problem here for Slim, Walking Eye has made every single right move in this game.
Oh, just pointing out here as we see Walking Eye navigating some unusually dark room here, that he doesn't have the lamp, but based on what we're seeing here, I would say that skill level, he's pretty comfortable doing dark rooms. The trickiest ones are going to be in Palace of Darkness at this point. So as long as he is okay with those, then I think he is definitely good to go.
Yeah, I think he's going to do the safety door here because he's going to be going up against the lasers. Slim getting ready to head and do the torch rooms. There's our first bottle with the blue goo inside. Now that's a nice safety to find when you're about ready to go up against Trinex.
Very nice laser skips here.
Yeah, he's definitely practiced this. He knows the strats. There's a heart container there for Slim. Walking Eye, about ready to go up against Trinex, has the Butter Sword. This will not be a hard fight at all.
Yep, Butter Sword in hand. It's going to be no problem.
Yep, and as we see Walking Eye switching on over to the Fire Rod after getting 3 hits on the first head. Tackles both of the heads pretty nicely. And a couple of swings away, and there we go. Slim has found both of the items in Misery Mire. They're just heart containers, and the answer for Slim is to pick up that ether and head up to the mountain. But at this point, Walking Eye has a very good lead. So Walking Eye now getting ready to head off the mountain here. All he's got to do is the combo, the Palace of Darkness and Eastern, and he will be heading off to Ganon's Tower. So he's got to be feeling good because, again, every move that he's made so far has paid off.
Yeah, definitely. Gaining Dark World access, it felt like both runners seemed to think that they were behind. But with everything kind of going right for Walking Eye in the second half of this match, he's got to be feeling pretty good at this moment.
Yeah, this is not a case where Walking Eye is finding progression in the very last possible spot. He's finding it everywhere he turns. It began with the boots and then went on to the bow as well as the ice rod to get into go mode. And this is where following the logic, following the trail of the logic, and going into dungeons that you need to be can pay off for you.
So we've got Slim putting those boots to use and checking out some of the bonk locations, King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks here.
Yeah, he's
probably just the last couple of... Go ahead.
I was going to say, he needs to make it up to the mountain, though.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking that what he's doing is just checking out these last few locations before making the big trip up the mountain here.
Yeah, he wants to make sure that Aghanim was not required this seed. We still don't have the lamp. We don't know where the lamp is. We do know that the bow was required to do anything in the Palace of Darkness because the red rupee was in the first spot.
Interesting.
And Slim's heading up to the mountain. But at this point, it's probably like a 7-minute difference at this point.
Yep, I think it's at least what we're looking at, yeah.
Maybe a little bit more. It all depends on when Slim heads into Turtle Rock. And this was the play that gave him the win last go-around. walkingeye pulled off the same strat this time around and is in a very good position. Like I said, this is a case where you made the right moves, you're feeling good about yourself. You make the wrong moves, you're not feeling really happy at this point.
So unfortunately, walkingeye having to kind of root around a little bit looking for that big key. In go mode, it's always annoying when you don't find your big keys right away.
But I like the fact that he's checking where he's checking at this point. He wants to skip the back section. He wants to skip that maze. And I can't blame him. But at this point, we have yet to see the big key. Could be down here with these staffos, but it's likely in the back. There's the map. Yep, it's in the back. And there's Slim finding out that the ether was required for Turtle Rock. He's going to go mirror and make his way over to the light world. And you know at this point in the tournament that the players that you're matched up against, you're going to be facing off players that are very, very equal to what you are. So this is a case where if you were facing off against a runner who was a lower established runner who hasn't pulled off a 2-hour seed, you'd be feeling good even though you made the early mistake. But Slim knows what walkingeye is capable of.
Yeah, it kind of plays into the meta game of a 1v1 match. Is you got to try and think about what your opponent might do, what your opponent's skill level is, and that kind of affects your decisions.
Well, that's an interesting spot for the book. Which means that the lamp could very well be on a tablet somewhere now.
Ooh, yeah, right. Didn't even think about that. So Slim picked up the Butter Sword in Hookshot Cave and is going for the Cane of Brine as well.
Yeah, go for the safety, and I think the case for both of these runners were maybe Spike Cave has something. We never saw what was in Spike Cave, but there was no reason to check Spike Cave once after walkingeye found both the bow and the ice rod inside Turtle Rock. Looks like walkingeye is just trying to figure his way out through the south part of this maze. Think he's got it. And there it is. There's the big key in the bottom of the maze.
That is the last possible chest for that big key to be in, pretty much.
There's the key for Slim. Now, here's the question. When he gets the bow coming up after the fire rod room, does he mirror out? That would be a unfortunate play for Slim, but it's very well possible. He may just continue on the path, just like he did last week. And there's a good solid kill of the mimics there for walkingeye. He's got one more dangerous section of dark rooms to go at this point, but with the fire rod it's going to make it a little easier. Plus he's got Butter Sword. And don't leave, Slim, don't leave. He's leaving.
Oh.
He's thinking that the progression is going to be inside. Either at this point for Slim, it's going to be in the Palace of Darkness that he's got the feeling that the progression is going to be. But we know the answer's not here. The answer was to continue on into Mimic Cave. Walking Eye dealing with the beetles at this point in time. Again, you can get a good fire rod shot. You can light the torch. There we go.
And that butter sword making quick work of the terrapins there.
One final dark room here for Walking Eye in this dungeon, and he's got one more dark room to put up with. That would be an Eastern Palace. Just a recap. Ice Rod is in Mimic Cave. Slim skipped out on that as it goes into the Palace of Darkness. This is not a bad move for Slim, but move. Now the good news is with how deep the big key is, it's not like Go mode is going to be any different. So there's the finish of the Palace of Darkness for Walking Eye. He's about to head to Eastern to claim his 7th and final crystal. And so for Walking Eye, he already claimed all 3 items out of Eastern. This is just a quick walk to the Armos Knights to claim victory. Then we'll go ahead and start playing our game. Just a reminder of the stakes for this race. The winner improves to 3 and 2. Their brackets still alive fully. The loser drops to 2 and 3. And their brackets become significantly smaller. And there's Walking Eye lighting the torch. Good decision to do here in this dark room. And with 54 silver-tipped arrows in his arsenal, I don't see these Armos Knights being any sort of a problem.
Hope none at all.
And this is just as equally of an annoying Palace of Darkness for Slim as it was for Walking Eye. All right, Armos Knights, you're going to be destroyed in 11 seconds flat. Not even that. Yeah, make it about 8 seconds. There we go. Armos are down. Sabatender, we've got a game coming up. Are you ready?
I'm very ready, Rick. Should I explain it, or do you want to give it a go?
Well, I'm going to have you talk about it. Get ready. Go!
Okay. So, Walking Eye is making his way up to Ganon's tower, where we are looking for the big key in the first 22 chests of Ganon's tower. We might find the big key, so put your guesses in the chat, 1 through 22. Where is the big key going to be in today's race? And if you have donated 250 bits across any Speed Gaming channels, or are a subscriber to any of the Speed Gaming channels, then you have a chance to end up on our very exclusive leaderboard for correct guesses.
This is all for fun. There's no prizes to be awarded here. I know in past tournaments I've offered up Perfect Durfee's Love and Affection. I hear that's in short supply this time around. I know he had done some commentary earlier tonight, did an awesome job of Epibliticus. Maybe the Love and Affection came out there. But I'm going to say chest number 3.
Ooh.
What about you, Sabatender?
I am going to keep guessing chest number 10, and I'm going to hope that I get it right for once.
Well, let's go ahead and see if you are correct. And once we get to that point here, we know that these runners are not going to be searching for anything else because butter's in hand, the silvers are in hand. The only thing that could really benefit these runners at this point would be the red mail, but there's a lot of other things that can come into play. Now, Slim has decided to go with ether strats here for the Beatles. Sabatender, what's in chest number 1 and 2?
Let's see what we've got here.
Actually, he's in the maze room, not the not.
We've got a map and a small key in chests 1 and 2, and walkingeye is going to be heading to left side, not using that key to get over to right side, which I think is a more common play.
I was hoping he was going to go right side so we couldn't have the torch be the number 3.
And unfortunately, on the torch, chest number 3 is just a piece of heart. So our wacky anti-fairy that turns into a kind of garbled version of itself, Bob, is going to live today.
So we find a piece of heart in 4, piece of heart in 5, small key in 6, and a piece of heart in 7. So that was a little bit of love all around. Amazing how fast the seed picked up once we got to the Tinesmith.
It sure did, yeah. I mean, as long as Ganon's Tower isn't too bad on walkingeye here, we're definitely talking about a sub 140 easily.
Take a look at some of the numbers coming up in just a moment as we get ready to deal with a couple of the hook shots. But yeah, right now, walkingeye's best time in the tournament is 141.44, and that has a significant chance of going down, considering the fact that it's 126 and he's in here. 140 is easy as long as walkingeye doesn't have any issues again.
No, and with tempered sword, or sorry, butter sword and silver arrows, it should be a pretty quick Ganon fight. We find another small key in chest number 9, so we're heading to the rando room.
Your number 10's next. And number 10, is it in there? No, 50 rupees, 11 small key, 12 is the big key. He could have opened that one first and made you happy and have it in 10, but instead he opens it third. If you pick number 12, we'll find out who's the winner in just a moment. And it turns out that nobody picked 12. The closest the closest was Final Flame. So congratulations from our friends at Speed Gaming on your nomination onto the leaderboard. I wonder what Alpha Channel does to get on the leaderboard for 9 guesses.
Well, Alpha Channel definitely watches a lot of Randomizer.
Definitely does. I know we've got a whole bunch of matches. walkingeye's going to go ahead and do the safeties here. 2.5 hearts. Can't blame him. You do not want to have to do the gauntlet all over again. SlimKirby done with the Palace of Darkness. Now, the only problem with him getting the book at this point is it could lead him to a tablet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the tablets is near where he needs to go. The other one would be the Bombos tablet. That one worries me. And that one worries me because what he would do after that tablet.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how long it would take him to think to go back into Turtle Rock at this point. He's only got a couple of locations in the overworld that I imagine that you want to check. It feels like you just have to go back into TR and see what else is in there.
Yeah, but the problem is that all the fetch quest stuff is still open. Like, easily it could be over at the Breadsmiths, it could be at the Peg Cave, it could be at Purple Chest, it could be at Bomble's for all he knows. We know it's not the case, but that's what he could be thinking. So SlimKirby about ready to tackle this final dark room of his. I wonder where that lamp is, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I said earlier that I thought it was Ice Palace, and I think I'm going to stick to that. That's like one of those dumb locations that they would stick it, is Pendant Ice Palace.
I'm going to take it a step further.
Ooh.
It's not in ice, but at Sarashla.
Oh, no.
Walkingeye going up to the 6th floor. Again, he's not going to be checking any chests at this point. He has no reason to do so. The only thing that can benefit him on this run now would be the red mail. And there's the crystal pickup there for Slim. He's got 6 of the 7 crystals. But will he go back to ice, or will he do overworld stuff? He hasn't seen the done from his opponent yet, so he may be thinking that the overworld is the place to go as Walkingeye takes a fall to Moldorm too.
And got him right away there, too. That was not nice.
Yeah, Walkingeye was trying to set up the dash. Unfortunately, Moldorm had decided, nope, you're not dashing in front of me. Take a hit. Thanks for coming. SlimKirby going back up Death Mountain. He's going to check the Ether tablet now. And again, no need to check the final chest, as Walkingeye has a date with Ganon. Slim is checking Spike Cave. This was the reason why both of these runners decided they were going to grab the Cane of Burner earlier for a safety. All right, what do we got? Nice triple. Can only get 1 on that run.
Ugh, those blue balls really getting in the way there for that one. That could have been a nice setup.
Yeah, unfortunately, you got single on that. Or he didn't even get 1 on that. That last orb did not come in time. There we go. And Agate 2 is down.
So if this Ganon fight goes really well, Walkingeye could just squeak in under 135, which would be really nice.
Yeah, that's a tremendous time. And he's got the butter. He's got the silvers to do it. Doesn't matter if you get torch glitch. It's really unconsequential when you have silver arrows. 6 hits per cycle. This here should not be a difficult fight for Walkingeye. Slim's going to check the Ether tablet. Will he go to Turtle Rock afterwards? 10 arrows. Unfortunately, now what Slim needs, and replenishes some of his arrows. 67 arrows. Wow.
It's a pretty full quiver there.
Yeah, I think they've found all the arrow upgrades in this seed.
Yeah,
Slim's going
like it.
Slim is going back into Turtle Rock, and he's not going to be liking himself when he finds the ice rod inside Mimic Cave.
Walkingeye not getting too many teleports here from Ganon, so almost through to phase 4 at this point.
And there we go. There's phase 4 coming up right now. Did you get the arrows on the light road? Yeah, you didn't make it too difficult for these runners to get them this time around. Once again, did not get the torch clips, inconsequential. Did lose the opportunity to get him here, but he's going to get a double now. There's 1, 2. Try to get him a triple, but could not. And Ganon is down. Walking Eye will improve to 3 and 2 with the win over SlimKirby. And he will get that sub 135.
Nicely done. Very good Ganon fight here at the end.
And he's about to pop in through the door and finish off this seed, finishing in an official SR.TV time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 46 seconds. OMG, GG.
So we'll see if we can get Walking Eye in here shortly. In the meantime, we'll keep an eye out for Slim here as he makes his way through Turtle Rock.
And I'll tell you what this seed came down to.
Lay it on me.
Walking Eye made every single right move. Like
every single one, yeah.
Every single right move needed. Heading on over to Skull Woods was probably the worst thing that he ended up doing in the entire route. But when it came down to it, once we get to the decision to go through the 5 and 6 crystals, go through Hera, go through Skull Wood, go through Hera, go through Swamp Palace, Walking Eye killed this seed. Went on over to the Misery Mire area, got the boots, got the Desert Crystal, went up to Death Mountain. And that was it. Those were the moves that he needed to make.
Alrighty, and let's bring in our winner here. Welcome, Walking Eye. GG's, man.
Hey, thank you very much.
So, at the beginning of this seed, you were trying to figure out where the seed wanted you to go. You're nearing some of your last locations to get Dark World access. What was on your mind when you've got the Moon, or not the Moon Pearl, but the hammer out of the Eastside Death Mountain when you did?
I hope I don't have to go into Hera Basement, because at that point, that just opened up Hera, and I didn't want to climb up the mountain again just to get that crystal. But sure enough, I had to go to Hera Basement, so that was really the big thing there. My usual Dark World routing when I first have Dark World access is to go to Village of Outcasts first, dip Skull, and then go into Thieves Town, and do that whole area, and then swing back down. So I did that. Yeah, go ahead.
What was on your mind when you got the Fire Rod out of Thieves Town? Because you had the option of going back to Skull Woods. We hadn't seen a single item in that dungeon. Instead, you decided to continue on your routing. What influenced your decision to do that?
The fact that Hera was a red crystal and so was Swamp, and I had the ability to clear both at the same time. I felt like that's where I was being drawn, so I was just going to continue with my routing, and then if basically Hype Cave had nothing, then I would go up to Hera, do that, come back down to Swamp, do that, go right to the Big Bomb, and then do Quakefish, and if there was still nothing after all that, then Dip Pod.
So you got the Titan Spit, and you had 3 options on where you could have went. You could have went up to Dark Death Mountain, you could have gone down to the Mire area, and you could have gone to Ice Palace. Now, we know why you didn't decide to go to Ice Palace. It was a pendant dungeon. But what made you decide to go to the Mire area?
That's just a reflex for me. As soon as I get the Titan's Miss, if I have the ability to go look at Mire, I think the information is crucial. And so I go and look at it. I wasn't planning on going in, but I also had the ability to do Desert if it wasn't boost locked. So it's just kind of a reflex, something that I'm used to routing that way. The information is good there. The 2 items in the shed are really quick. I had the mirror, so that also meant possibly getting a crystal, as well as whatever was in the checkerboard cave, and that all worked out beautifully for me there.
Because one of the biggest things that this seed came down to. Now, there was one other thing that happened in this seed that was unfortunate for SlimKirby, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. But that I don't want to take away from your immaculate routing. Once you got that Titan's Mitt, every move you made was gold. Getting the boots, that was gold. Then you went up to the mountain, found out that you could actually get inside Turtle Rock, and not only did you find the bow in there, but you continued to press on to get the ice rod. What made you continue on inside Turtle Rock?
So I was planning on going into Turtle Rock, obviously, as soon as I left the Mire area, because I went down to get that ether medallion, just in case it ended up being ether to get there. So I did. I hate climbing Death Mountain multiple times. I can't stand it. So if I'm up there and have the ability to go into Turtle Rock, I'm basically going to do it. And so I did it, and I was just going as far as I could. I still needed one item for go mode. My plan was, if I didn't get the ice rod, to take that, the safety door right on Laser Bridge. I was going to take that and then do a bunch of light world, overworld checks.
Ooh, nice.
So I was going to end up doing Mushroom, and then I had Hobo to check, and the Lake Hylia Island in there as well. And I don't remember if there was really anything else. Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb were on my list. So if the ice ride had been in any of those, then I would have, gotten that extra climb up Death Mountain, but at the same time, I would have avoided the double dip of Turtle Rock that I was hoping my opponent would like to do.
Yeah, so you're sitting at 3-2 now after this one. I guess every match is an important one going in if you're trying to make your way to the brackets. How are you feeling about that?
Not feeling great. Obviously, I'd rather be 4-1 or 5-0 at this point. But my goal coming into this was to make the brackets. I feel like it's like right on the edge of where I can get myself as a runner of Link to the Past Randomizer. And so it's kind of a stretch goal for me to make those brackets, and I'm gonna try my best to absolutely make it.
Nice.
So you ended up getting your fastest seed of the tournament in this run with 134.46. Was there at any point that you felt worried about where you were against your competition?
100%. At the end, as I killed the boss in Swamp Palace, I thought that was awful, and I was saying the whole time, like, there was nothing in Swamp. Kirby is going to go mode Swamp, and like I just handed 3-4 minutes to Kirby just for no reason. And the only redeeming thing out of this is if specifically Titan's Mitts are at Pyramid, because in that case he will have also full cleared it. And I got Titan's Mitts, and I started freaking out.
And it turned out to be the case. So one of the things that happened in this run is about 7 minutes into this run, Slim and you were both going through Kakariko Village. Slim missed the tavern.
Oh, jeez.
And that had the power glove.
Yeah, no, that's a big one.
And
he ended up Lamp?
No,
it wasn't like Lamp and Hobo or something, right? Okay.
No, we have not seen Lamp at all in this seed. So what ended up happening is once he got to the end of Eastern, he was left with no options, and so therefore he probably spent a good 2 to 3 minutes just trying to figure out what he was missing. Finally came to that conclusion, but by that point in time, you had the lead and you did not relinquish it.
I mean, that's absolutely brutal. SlimKirby is a fantastic runner. I've certainly seen him run before. That is certainly not indicative of how he normally runs things. So definitely shout outs to Slim for sticking with it. And I'm looking at the stream right now. It looks like he's in Ganon's Tower. So give SlimKirby a follow, because he's still a runner to watch for. He's still a fantastic runner. And he's still doing a fantastic job, along with some other people in this chat room here, organizing this tournament. So, SlimKirby, definitely worthy of a follow. Definitely a fantastic runner. Great competition. I was certainly nervous the whole time. I was like, well, he still could have, skipped a couple of checks that I did and still done basically the same routing. But, yeah.
Nice.
And it's becoming increasingly possible that lamp was indeed, like you mentioned, Sabatender inside Ice Palace. Neither of you were going to go there. No reason to check inside there once this game decided, hey, look, I'm going to give you everything along your path to beat this game.
Yeah, it Yeah, Ice Palace was never a consideration. If I had felt super behind at some point, I might have dipped Ice, but yeah, Ice was not a consideration. I'm just happy that Turtle Rock worked out for me. It worked out in a big way.
All right,
coming
up next for you is a match against the 3 and 2. So there's some pretty heavy hitters that are starting to come along in that 3 and 2 grouping. What's your thoughts heading into next week of this tournament?
Just get some practice runs in, and stop playing the Z3R sim, because that just screws me up and makes me feel terrible about myself. So yeah, practice runs is a big thing. Community race on Saturday with everybody usually gives me a couple of races to watch. So if people in chat aren't involved in that and want to run, it's a great place to start like a casual race and start learning Randomizer, because this is a lot of fun. And like this tournament, is just a ton of fun. It's awesome to be in these 1v1 with commentary races, and it's awesome to be part of the big community races too, where you can learn a lot easier by watching some of the top runners, the runners who are hopefully not going to be paired against me next week, and how they routed and played. So,
and who knows, you may be getting paired against them. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight to get yourself into brackets. We'll see how it goes with week number 5 rather. Congratulations on the win. This was, like I said, this was a case of great routing, especially once you got the Titans-man. Just every play that you made just enhanced and maintained your lead.
Yep, every single gamble worked out, and you're going to win those seeds. And sometimes it's going to go the other way. It could have easily gone Kirby's way if he had go moded Swamp and there wasn't those myths at Pyramid Ferry. So definitely GG's to Kirby. I appreciate the opportunity to race in front of you also, and thank you guys for commentating as well. So definitely give these commentators a follow. Give SlimKirby a follow. Heck, give me a follow. I'm Walking Eye.
He is Walking Eye indeed. But it was nice when you became Running Eye once you got the boots. But you only wished you had gotten that before you went to Desert.
Yeah, no, it's just like, well, I'll do, I like doing Desert first and then checking Checkerboard Cave, and that's okay. I'm not even counting that as a double dip in my my post-game analysis. It's fine.
As we see Slim making work of the gauntlet.
All right, well, I'll get out of here. Sounds like you guys got a gauntlet to commentate. So again, give these give these runners. God, I'm used to commentary. Give SlimKirby a follow. Give these commentators a follow. Thank you all very much for watching and for the support. GG's to SlimKirby, and best of luck to him in the rest of his tournament life. I'm getting out of here. Have a good night, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Walking Eye. How do we follow that up?
That was some top-notch hype right there.
I felt the hype. I'm feeling the hype as we get ourselves ready to go for week number 6 of this tournament. Like,
the creep towards the brackets. It's just there's so many people that are hoping to make it, and there's so many excellent runners who have the capability to make it, that every race becomes important, and it's a lot of fun. But what's nice about this tournament as a whole is that you've also got stories where we have runners who are maybe collecting their first win at this point, and that's also a big event. So there's good stories to be found all around, from the top to all the way down to runners who are just kind of newer in the community.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about runners that have particular records. There are certain runners out there that have 3-1 records, and they've said to me that they cannot believe that they have that record, that it's very, very just strange and surreal to them that they are of the record that they are. But it's all about A, who you get paired against, and B, how well you do it. The runners that are currently sitting here at 3-1, they've deserved exactly everything that they've gotten so far throughout this entire tournament. And as we move along, these races are going to get even closer. They're going to get harder. It's going to be a tough road into brackets for certain. The 128 runners that are going to be playing in brackets when we get to the end of this month, they're going to earn that spot.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's see what Slim does with the final chest. Does he present it with a bomb? Yes, he does. Thank you, and good night. Let's have a couple of arrow shots. So you just remember to save 4 of them for the Ganon fight coming up. And at this point, Slim knows he lost this race. All right, Slim, you've said your piece. Let's head on over to Aghanim and just show him the how do you do. And you can feel Slim's frustration. He knows that he ended up yielding 5 minutes alone because him missing the tavern.
Yeah.
Like, he had everything he needed for Dark World before he stepped foot in his routing at that point. And the blue ball is affecting Slim as well in the Sagat fight. And there we go. And once again for Slim, this is going to be the same kind of fight with the tempered sword and with the silvers in hand. We have one more fight against the Ganon coming up. And be sure to stay tuned. We've got a lot more great races coming up. In fact, we've got some great late night races coming up tonight on the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament. So stay tuned to all of the Speed Gaming channels for all those great races. Slim was hoping to maybe get a couple more hits on Ganon for good measure, but ended up getting the bats did not be at the right spot. But he ended up getting the 6 hits that he needs to. Gets him over to the bottom left corner, now up to the top right, top left corner. Another couple of sword slashes at him. And this should be a pretty easy finale here for Slim. Slim goes ahead and hits the Ganon with the first of the silver arrows. Has a fire bat staring around right in the face. Takes 1 hit, but ends up getting Ganon with a couple of hits here, and that's still going to do it. And SlimKirby has finished this race. Get your GGs in the chat for SlimKirby. He will go ahead and go through the door as soon as he figures out how to do so. There he goes. He has to fire another arrow, because what ended up happening is the fanfare happened just as he was firing an arrow, so he had to fire another arrow. If he didn't have another arrow in his possession, that would have been actually a very interesting soft lock scenario there. But SlimKirby has finished the race. Official SR.TV time of 1:52:56.
So we'll pull him in for an interview in just a few seconds.
Absolutely. So at this point, let's go ahead and talk about what we've got coming up here on Speed Gaming this evening.
Yeah, let's see. Right now, over on one of our ALTTPR Randomizer 2 channel here, we have a match that is underway already, Withheld versus Mega Patches. That is going on right now. We've got some late night matches as well scheduled. We've got McLagan versus Act the Boker, which will be on Speed Gaming at midnight tonight.
Oh, that is going to be an amazing match. You know,
Definitely.
that is a 4-0 match, and winner goes, they've automatically qualified for the brackets.
And
And
there
you know
might-
it's going and you
Ooh.
know it's going to be exciting when Big John is on commentary.
yeah.
But if you're looking for late night races, we also got one coming up at 12:15 over on Speed Gaming 4 versus Arboritic versus Buzz Thunder, as well as another midnight race. Or not. Well, we've got we got a 5 a.m. race between Dave and Midnight 197. Tomorrow, by the way, on Speed Gaming, we'll begin the Mega Man 2 for the Game Boy tournament. Juke Ariel versus Heart Selection. That's at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning to kick off that tournament. That'll be on Speed Gaming. And with that, we have the ding of a SlimKirby. Your thoughts on the seed?
Well, let me try to put this in the best way possible. I could really use a drink right about now. Do you know any establishments that could give me a hand with that?
I was thinking the Milk and Parlor.
I like the way you think, good sir.
So what happened? How did you? What?
I don't know. I was very certain I checked everything in Kakariko. Like, I was very, very certain I did, but I don't know. I was so certain that when I was in Eastern Palace, I'm like, okay, this next chest is either going to be the lamp or the power glove. And when it wasn't, I was like, oh no, what did I forget? And after just kind of reviewing the map for a bit, I knew I had to come from the Kakariko area because I was just initially so certain I got everything from there. So I was like, maybe I did forget something and just didn't realize it. And then went back there, and sure enough, it clicked as I was walking around. Did I check the tavern? And apparently not.
And you ended up giving that chest a couple of bombs to say how much you loved it, and then you made your way off to the Dark World. And at that point in time, walkingeye ended up having a lead at that stage, but it wasn't a big lead. What happened next is a case of him having immaculate routing, as you you can pretty much figure how he finished off that seed once he got the Titan's Mitt.
Oh, for sure. So he still got the Titan's Mitt first.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so at one point in the seed, I was looking at my items, and I'm like, okay, so there's 2 gambles I have to make right now in order to even stand any sort of a chance. And those 2 gambles were Pyramid Fairy and then Turtle Rock. And I'm at least happy to know that both of those gambles worked out. But I also know going into those gambles that if my opponent did those 2, then yeah, there was no way I was going to win this. But
yeah, and if you watch it back, you're going to notice that he pretty much did everything that you did, but only mirrored.
Right.
Because of the delay that you had getting to the Dark World. And again, once we got to that point where the Pyramid Fairy had the Titan's Mitt, the decision was on. And it was just unfortunate in regards to the fact that he chose the same areas that you chose in regards to where the boots turned out to be, and then up to Turtle Rock where the bow and the ice rod turned out to be. And I noticed that you gave the ice rod, the chest that contained it, a nice how do you do once you found it.
Oh yeah, of course. Like, yeah, you know. At that point, and again, you can fill me in here. What I was thinking when I left Turtle Rock was that, okay, so this item's here. That's great. I found the bow. I'm not really going to be losing a whole lot of time anyway, because if I continue on with Turtle Rock and find Ice Rod, then I'm going to have to climb up the mountain again anyway. And by that logic, I was thinking, well, if the Ice Rod happens to be in Palace of Darkness, and if he got here, my opponent got there and found the bow and kept going, and Ice Rod wasn't there, there's some more time I would get back. So yeah. It was essentially, I was really trying to make a lot of very calculated gambles just to try to get back into it.
Yeah, you knew that you were behind, especially with how things didn't work out for you in the beginning of the seed. So you were trying to make a gamble and it turned out everything that he did was the right move.
Right.
And he left you really little opportunity to get back in the race after that.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, if he was able to do that, then by all means he deserves to win, and I deserve to lose based on my stupidity of just not checking that location. I still don't even know. Like, did you guys notice right away that I didn't check that, or?
Not right away.
I didn't, because at that point in time you guys were in different locations, but then chat really picked it on immediately, and they knew what you didn't do.
Yeah, because I mean, and this goes for I think anyone who plays Randomizer. When you do those Kakariko checks, you do them so many times. In every single seat, that's like one of the first checks you do. You do all of Kakariko. So, I feel like anyone could make that same mistake, whether it's that location or the chicken house or even the back of Blind's Hut. Just kind of like you've been through that whole process so many times that in one particular case you just for some reason block one of those checks out, and I think it's exactly what happened to me right there.
Yeah.
The good thing was at least you were able to at least get to that conclusion that the tavern had what you needed really fast, because it was really tough watching for that 5-minute period where you're just going back up the mountain. Did I forget something inside the spectacle rock? Did I forget this place? And it was just tough to knowing what we knew.
Oh yeah, of course. I imagine it is, especially for you guys, because you see everything. Whatever one runner doesn't do and the other one does, like that's automatically zeroed in on, and it's much different from a runner's perspective, I'll say that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I will say this, it was a extraordinarily great effort there for walkingeye to go to 3-2. You dropped down to 2-3. What's your thoughts heading into week 6?
Heading into week 6, I mean, at this point I pretty much realized there's very, very little chance to get into the bracket stage. Like, I know there's could be a slim possibility, no pun intended, to get in, just based on possible dropouts and stuff of that nature. But even then, I think you have to kind of start strong with wins immediately to even be considered for that, just because of how it's the statistic is considered. But I'm just gonna approach the next 2 weeks, just gonna have fun with it, just gonna have fun with my remaining 2 matches.
And that's the spirit.
Exactly. You really can't get too beat up about a loss in Randomizer, just because you never know what's going to happen. You could play great, but then just your opponent making one decision, or in this case many decisions, in a much faster method than you did, that'll just change the whole dynamic of the race. So it's it really shouldn't be a big deal. So that's just kind of my thoughts moving into the following week. So I'll play the 2 matches, I'll keep going. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. To get at least 2 of the matches won so far. Maybe I can get a few more before this Swiss round ends up.
Yep, the 4-3 dream is still on the table. Get yourself a winning record, and we'll see how things go for week number 6. One thing one thing you'll notice as we go through, if you decide to watch this race back, is we were hoping so badly that you wouldn't get Dark World access based on missing the tavern, because that would have been so much harder for you to locate the place that you missed later on.
Oh, for sure, definitely. I did really luck out in that regard, for sure. I was even I was still under the impression that it could have been an Ganon seed too, just because I was only lamp away from that as well, so I had no idea what to work with. So it was really fortunate that it was the glove, and I did find it.
And we never found where that lamp turned out to be.
Yeah, I'm curious about that as well, actually.
We were thinking Ice Palace, because that's really outside of the Bombos tablet, the only place that wasn't really checked at this point, unless it was in one of the fetch quests, like the Breadsmith in Purple Chest or Peg Cave. Or it could have been in the back of Skull Woods, because we never saw an item there as well. Anyway, so that's going to do it for this match. walkingeye goes to 3-2. And SlimKirby drops to 2-3 as far as this tournament is concerned. Any closing thoughts here, Sabatender?
No, I had a great time commentating with you, Rick, and I guess GG's to both our runners. Give them a follow. I want to thank our tracker, Planswalker, for keeping everything on track behind the scenes for us today. And I guess that's going to do it for me, so I'll leave the final word with you, Rick.
All right, stay tuned for more Link to the Past Randomizer, and hope you have yourselves a good night. Thanks for joining us here, and we'll see you on the next edition of the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament. Have yourselves a good night.